horses to Americans? Americans own horses for recreation, for sport, pleasure. The history of the horse with Americans goes so far back. They helped discover America. They fought in almost every war with us. So the idea of eating a horse never really came to America like it has in Japan or Europe or other countries. Now, the American Horse Slaughter Prevention Act of 2006 closed the 3 remaining horse slaughterhouses in the United States. Now, since Americans don't eat horses, the slaughterhouses were meant to export horse meat to other countries. So the 2 slaughterhouses were, 2 of them were in Texas and 1 of them was in Illinois. But since that ban happened, there's an issue that we didn't really think about at the time, and that was the amount of unwanted horses now. Yearly, there are about 90 to 100,000 unwanted horses each year. Now, instead of going to slaughterhouses, these horses are neglected, abused. Their lives are very sad. Now, luckily, some find new homes with second owners who are willing to put in the time and money. Others go to equine rescues, rehabilitation centers, or retirement facilities. And this is where people use their own money or donations from people, and they give these horses a forever home, or they help them rehabilitate them so that they can be better horse pets for people. Some are even euthanized upon the owner's request. Now, the reason why owners do this is so that their horses don't end up in poor conditions where they have no control over them. So they would rather see them die humanely than be neglected or sold to a slaughterhouse. And the worst things that can happen is to be abandoned, neglected, or abused, which happens to a lot of horses. Like I said, the worst thing that can happen is abuse and neglect. And as you can see, these horses are severely emaciated, completely underweight, almost have no food, very close to death. Now, is the answer to helping this unwanted horse problem to reintroduce horse slaughter in the U.S.? Recently, Obama signed a bill that allowed for federal funds to be put towards the inspection of horse slaughterhouses and horse meat in the United States. And what that means is now we're going to have horse slaughter back in the United States. Of course, we don't eat the horses, so the meat will be exported. But there are quite a few problems with this. The number one concern is horse meat. The horses that are used for horse meat isn't exactly safe for human consumption. Any horse owner knows that a deworming bottle that you use monthly, sometimes they have daily dewormers for horses, it actually says right in the back, not used for horses intended for human consumption. Also, recent studies have found that bute, which is phenobutazone, which is a very, very common anti-inflammatory used in horses, is extremely dangerous when humans consume this horse meat that is infected with bute. Now, almost all horses are treated with either dewormer or bute, so this isn't good. Another thing is a lot of people don't feel settled about this conclusion of reinstating horse slaughter because these horses that are going to horse slaughter weren't raised to be slaughtered. They were raised as family pets. They were raised as sports figures. They weren't raised like other cows and chickens and pigs that are raised for the intention of consuming. Now, we don't do this with the dogs and cats when we don't want them anymore, if we can't afford them anymore. So it's not really a good ending to something that shouldn't happen. Horse theft is another problem. A lot of people don't hear about it, but if you're part of the horse world, or you know somebody who's a part of the horse world, horse theft is a very real reality. Now, when people steal horses, they can make up to $800 for a 1,000-pound horse. Just recently in Montgomery County, there is a very well-known horse stable called TaylorMade, and one of their mares was stolen. She is yet to be found. Thankfully, or hopefully, the horse was stolen before the reinstation of horse slaughter, so hopefully the reasons why she was stolen is because of reasons other than horse slaughter. Now, what can be done to help with the unwanted horses? Instead of reinstating horse slaughter, we should definitely pay attention to overbreeding. There are vast amounts of unwanted horses because people keep breeding and they're not paying attention to the supply and demand of the certain horse breeds that they have and who they are breeding. Adopt, don't shop is an awesome saying that is being used for dogs, and I don't see why it shouldn't be for horses as well. People looking to purchase a horse should really look into a greener, younger horse rather than either breeding a horse or buying a foal. Another thing that we can do is educate. Now, horses are extremely expensive pets. They have a very unique and expensive diet. The price of grain is continuously rising, along with the price of hay. Farrier bills, which is their feet, they are monthly costs, and that's just for trimming. For shoeing horses, it's even more expensive. Teeth floating, which is where they actually file the teeth down so the horse can properly eat. That's usually a yearly cost. Deworming, which can be daily or weekly. Vaccinations, which are administered by a vet. Those are done seasonally. Along with the amount of money that goes along with having a horse is the amount of work that goes into it. Horses need to be fed 2 to 3 times a day because of the way their digestion works. They can't be fed once. The manure from a horse is immense, and you have to clean the stalls or the shelters or the pastures they are in, usually daily to weekly. So we really need to tell people who are interested in buying a horse how much it's really going to cost you. Some of my final thoughts are that horse slaughter should not be legal in the U.S. It is not something that we engage in. We don't eat horses. So why should we put our horses through this mess? Now, also, I would like to say that even though I do not agree with horse slaughter, I am thankful that we do have federal money going for the inspection of horse slaughterhouses. Therefore, we know for a fact that these horses who are being killed for meat are being killed humanely. Unlike in Canada and Mexico, where when the ban was set in the United States, we used to send them several hours of a grueling long journey up to Canada or down to Mexico. We know for a fact that these horses were not killed humanely, and they had an awful ride to the slaughterhouse. So thankfully, at least we know these horses are dying painlessly.